Hello, today we are talking about the book All In by Lynn. This is the third book in the Natural series, and if you're wondering what is the Natural series, that is a good question because it's an amazing book that you should read, and it is about these kids. They have these abilities. They're more abilities that are aimed towards the FBI that the FBI uses to figure out these cases. For example, the main character Cassie in here, she is a profiler. She can slip into someone's perspective and see why they might have done something or what they might have done, and that is why in the book we often see parts in this that say you, and these are the perspectives from the killer, which I think are amazing because you get to read from the perspective of the killer in a way where you get information that you don't get through the narratives in the book. And it's titled You because when Cassie learns how to profile people, she's taught you either use you or I to kind of slip into that mindset. And I really liked how we do see these perspectives because I feel it gives a new element to the book than just, okay, here's a case, you gotta try to figure it out, where now we get the bits and pieces that you would know something maybe that the characters don't know, so you're sitting there being like, no, this is what they're gonna do, you are wrong. And I just like this. Really good book. If you are a big fan of CSI or Castle or any crime shows or murder mysteries, I would highly suggest reading The Naturals because it's so good, and go read them. This is the third book. I have the other two books, The Naturals and Killer Instincts videos. Go check those out because those are also fantastic books. I'm going to continue to talk about this book, so if you haven't read it, I do not suggest watching this video because I don't want to spoil you for this amazing series. So go read the book and then you can come back and then we can talk about it. One thing I really like about these books is that the minute you read it, like the minute you open up to that first page, bam, you're already in this like huge plot point. Like most books, it starts off really slow, like, you know, we have like the intro and then it just introing in, and then we maybe in the middle we finally get some. Well, these are bam in the plot already, and you are trying to figure out what is going on. We find out more information on what happened to Cassie's mother's murder case, and they say that they found the bones on the side of the road in a coffin that turns out to be Cassie's mother's. So now Cassie is kind of given this new information where now she's trying to figure out, okay, now who would have done this? And then we find out that this, her mother's murder case, plays a huge role in the series. And at first I didn't know what to think. First I was like, wait, why would her mother's bones be in a coffin? If did like the killer feel like regret after they killed her and thought, okay, I'll give her some respect and put her in a coffin? I don't know. Just other than that, these books take place actually in Las Vegas this time because these murder cases has been happening periodically throughout the week, like almost on every day of the week, but there's some pattern that's going by, and it's in Las Vegas hitting these casinos. So the Naturals are shipped down to Las Vegas, and there's something going on with Michael. Michael's acting kind of strange, not normally how he normally acts. For example, so I got them more of a motel, kind of like to play it down low, like to be low so they don't seem suspicious, like why are there a bunch of teenagers in Las Vegas? Well then, Michael, whose father is like really rich and stuff like that, he's like, hey, I got us this week. But obviously knowing Michael's father, Michael had to do something in order for his father. There had to be some give and trade in here. And so he's like, no, I got this week. But Michael's acting kind of reckless and careless throughout the book, and he just did not see himself. And I'm wondering, not only does it have probably something to do with Cassie, but is there some other bigger thing going on that Michael is trying to ignore? Because when there's something going on with Michael, he becomes reckless and careless. And I'm honestly Team Michael. I wanted Cassie to end up with Michael, and I'm hoping maybe for some reason she does. I liked Michael, so I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping in the fourth book we'll get more information. Like I said, one thing I really like about this author book is you never know what's going to happen. Normally in books I'm able to guess midway through the book what might happen or who this person of suspicion is in other books. But these I can never guess. Honestly, I would think something, I'd be like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's this person, and then there will be evidence to prove it's wrong. Or if you do guess right in thinking who the killer is, the author will put evidence in there to make you believe, wait, maybe it's not, but then at the end, turns out it is. So you're never able to have a safe guess. You're like, I'm 100% sure this is who it is. So for the longest time, I thought it was Aaron. Turns out Aaron is actually Sloane's brother, who he doesn't really know Sloane exists, but then he kind of does, and then he recognizes her through, I think their eyes are the same, so he's like, oh yeah, so I think
you're like my half-sister.
I honestly thought Aaron was the killer here because it wouldn't make sense because his father owns a casino. He could easily cover it up. Like, he could get footage, he could erase it, he could easily basically cover it up. And so I honestly thought he was it until he himself was put into this plot and killed. And I cried. I didn't think I was gonna cry at the end part, but I cried because I actually liked Sloane's brother. I thought he was a good character. I thought he was a good person. And then when he dies, it then turns out who was actually supposed to get was actually Michael. At first I thought, well, maybe the killer kind of framed Michael but didn't really mean to kill Michael. But probably when the killer's smart, he realizes Michael wouldn't be so dumb to come here by himself. Especially if he's working on this case himself and knows what to look for. And so he kind of probably figured, okay, the FBI is, and there would be a camera on him. I'm guessing, because I know he turned off the lights and you couldn't see anything, like what is going on. So I thought maybe the killer was gonna go for Michael anyways, but probably didn't think it was the best idea because there was cameras on. So he went for Aaron, who was kind of similar to Michael by clothing and everything else. And I cried. I'm like, what? I felt so bad for Sloane. Like, she was so torn up and heartbroken about it. And I felt so bad for her. So bad for her. One part I thought was really weird about this book. So we have different suspects throughout the book who we're not sure who could be it. Well, Briggs and Sterling goes interview this one person, and the Naturals, they have like this earbud in their ear where they're able to hear everything. So then they can analyze what this person's feeling or if they're lying or not. Well, the minute they start interviewing, the feed just cuts out. Just randomly just cuts out. So Naturals say we're gonna go to the lounge area, and so they go in the lounge area and they see the shadows of Sterling and Briggs, but they can't make anything out. There's no feed. Michael sees his father from across the room kind of yelling at his kid, mistreating him. So Michael, obviously coming from an abusive father himself, goes to kind of like see what's going on, maybe intercept. Well, Dean follows Michael to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. Leah spots a doctor, who is also another suspect in this case, to go talk to him, see if he's lying. Cassie is supposed to be watching out for Leah, but gets distracted, and the minute this is all happening, the feed cuts in. Now, it's kind of strange. I was wondering if this was planned, like, is Leah gonna get kidnapped now? Because it's funny how the minute they split up, the feed cuts in, knowing Cassie might get distracted by it, and Leah might be gone. So I was wondering if Leah wouldn't get captured, but that didn't happen. In one of the perspectives of view, the killer said he didn't do it, but he watched it happen. And we interviewed Tori at one point, and Tori says she has taught one person to hypnotize before. And I'm thinking, okay, now is the killer hypnotizing different people to do his work for him? Because if he did, then it would be hard to track down who the killer really is if he is hypnotizing all these different people to do his work. And like I said, let's go back to how I love the part how Jennifer Lynn Barnes keeps putting evidence in your face where you're like, maybe this is not the killer, maybe this is. Hugh Donovan, I thought he was the killer at first. Then we get that video feed showing him attacking security guard out of pure self-defense, and you think, oh, maybe he's not. And then turns out he is. Hugh Donovan is the killer here, and we keep hearing this obsession with number 9. I need 9, I need 9, I need 9. Turns out it's a cult. Okay, now we are getting now into the makings of a cult, and turns out there's always an oracle and a kid. And so now we're kind of thrown into this one, and then like, we care about your safety, and we're going to take you all to a safe house. Well, as they're getting on this plane, some creepy stuff happens. The plane coincidentally does not, it's kind of not working, and then we see a letter addressed to Judd, and inside is a letter from Nightshade. And we actually find out in the book that there's this weird pattern going on, and there's been other murders who have followed the same pattern, the same dates, the same ways. Now this is when we start thinking there's this cult involved, and Nightshade is involved in this, so now it's kind of getting creepy. So we catch Nightshade. Okay, so it's like 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm reading this book, and Briggs gets stabbed by Nightshade with this chemical thing that is poison and could make him die, and it's painful, and the only way he can get the antidote, and Nightshade would reveal what that antidote is if Cassie goes and talks to him. It's only like 20 pages long, so it's like, how is the author gonna wrap this up? Like, what is going on in this book? Cassie goes and visits Nightshade, and he kind of starts talking about her mother. He knows things about her mother's case, so now we're thinking, is Nightshade the killer in her mother's case? But then Nightshade says it's room number. He's like, go check this room. Turn out the bones in the coffin is not Cassie's mother at all. What is going on here? Because now we find out the possibility that her mother might not be dead. They go back to the casino and they witness a dead body, blood is everywhere, and then we have this little girl. And this little girl actually was Casey saw earlier, other woman who's also a redhead. And she saw this man too, which turns out to be Nightshade. So they technically has been stalking Casey, and Casey has never thought, she just thought this was just some family, but no, they are part of this cult. And Casey asks the little girl, what happened? And the little girl says something like, that's not my mom.
What? How is that not your mom?
The person who raises a little girl is just like some random person they find to raise a little girl so they can keep the other person, the woman, safe. And so what happens is that the girl's like, that's not my mom. And Casey's like, where's your mom? She's like, oh, I have a picture of her in my locker. Casey opens up this locker, and I kind of figured this was going to happen. Once the girl said, that's not my mom, I was like, okay, something's going to happen, because we just figured out those bones weren't Casey's mom, and this girl keeps saying the dead woman is not her mom. We find out the person in this locket is Casey's mother. Okay, Casey's mother is still alive, and somewhere in here, the story, and I don't know what's going on. So that's my question though. Her mother abandoned Cassie, and we're like, okay, now what's gonna happen? And my question is, when they figure out the bones were not Cassie's mother, then how did they realize that they are? Because they said they were, but now they're really not. Unless if her mother killed the person and left her DNA on there, so then they could easily frame, like, you know, got like really old bones where the DNA kind of just left them. And so maybe Cassie's mother was able to put her DNA on them and kind of frame it as hers, knowing they would find in the future as her case. I just don't know what's going on, okay? And I can't wait. At first I thought this was how the series is going to end. I was like, no, this cannot be one of those make up your own endings. It cannot be one of these make up your own endings. But then I got to figure, no, the author has to have a fourth book, and then it was confirmed there is a fourth book. I can't wait to read it. So thank you for watching this. What were your opinions on it? What has been your favorite book in the Natural series so far? Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and remember to subscribe to my channel for more bookish conversations. Thank you for watching. Bye.